I will now be doing my holodeck assignment and through a video explanation. So we begin. A man is on a spaceship going through the cosmos. His nephew has invited him to attend the birth of his child, and he is light years away, so he must travel using the holodeck. When using the holodeck, a fuse is blown and the holodeck fails. He is trapped inside of it. He is instructed to use the manual that contains 7 methods to be free from the holodeck and escape back into his own reality. The first method he tries is pragmatism. In this method, there is no absolute reality, there is no end-all be-all, and nothing is for certain. Things in this reality are only partially real, and things can change, and when they change, we get consequences of our ideas. Consequences are one of the most important parts of pragmatism, and can be affected through change. Due to this fact, he is not very reasonable, and cannot rationalize or grasp the reality placed in front of him, and he moves on to the next method. The next method is anti-realism. In this reality, nothing is real, and things are how we describe and perceive them, but not the way things really are, and we cannot see that. He opens the door and sees 2 men arguing over a table. They argue about the size, the color, and even the texture of the table to see if it is soft or hard. He realizes that this reality would not function due to the fact that we all have different mindsets and perceptions. And once again, he moves on to the next method. The next method is logical positivism. In this reality, everything is a deception, and everything around us will crumble except for language. However, language is super important, and while everything else crumbles around us, language remains the same and is told throughout generations and stories and lasts longer than most materials. He opens the door to see people telling stories and learning different languages or more about their own. He realized that this is it. This is how he may be able to return, using logical positivism, using language as an escape. However, he wants to know more about these methods and utilizing that this time that he is trapped in the holodeck, and he craves more knowledge. And he thinks to himself, what's the worst that can happen? The next method is phenomenology. In this reality, appearance is the most essential, and when he opens the door, he sees what appears and looks to be our reality. He sees another man. He is from a reality, but just not the man on the holodeck's reality. In his reality, he is the man on the holodeck himself. But in our reality, he appears as a completely different person and acts very different. So the man on the holodeck realizes how easily appearances can be so deceiving, so he moves on to the next method. The next method is idealism. This reality is based on how our ideas and thoughts and theories are all come to mind, and then he asks and questions about the theory of reality. He thinks about theories and how they exist, but he doesn't exactly know how to prove them. So he ponders and struggles, but he looks back and thinks about the table, how they're arguing about if it's a soft or hard table, and then he looks back and realizes that there was no table at all, and it was only a theory of a table. Because he once again sees this when he opens the door, but he realizes that this cannot be the correct reality. So once again, he moves on to the next method. The next method of existentialism. In this reality, everything is subjective, and we exist, but we create our own reality. He looks through the door and sees that his favorite team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, have once again come to glory and won the Stanley Cup. But then he realizes this is his own reality, and he knows he wants the Leafs to win. But deep down, he knows that in real life, the Leafs will lose to the Boston Bruins once again in the first round. And he establishes that if he creates this reality, it will be a false reality, and reality would cease to exist in the holodeck and in his nephew's childbirth of his son. The final method he tries is materialism. He's about to give up and go back to logical positivism, but he must try this one last method. He tries materialism by opening the door and walking in. He sees nothing, but then everything appears. He can see, he can feel, he can taste things once again. He's never felt so alive, and he knows everything is real because it's right in front of him, and he can do things that mold this reality. By tasting an apple and realizing that it tastes like an apple, he touches it very soft and feels like silk. He tasted silk. He feels silk, and it feels soft. And he can see with his own eyes the ocean, as far as the eye can see. He realizes there is no deceptions. Now he re-enters his reality and escapes the holodeck successfully unharmed. And he even makes it to his nephew's son's birth. Using materialism and logical positivism, he was able to escape his reality. He did use materialism, but he also could have used logical positivism. The other methods could not work as well. And that concludes our holodeck journey. and our video diary.